Welcome back to the Republic of Arsenal, and well, we made hard work of it. We really did, but we managed it in the end. Arsenal 2, Newcastle nil. Took us well into extra time to take the lead through Emil Smith-Rowe before a long-awaited goal from captain Aubameyang finally killed off the tie. Sent Arsenal into the fourth round of the FA Cup. Look, this is a game that told us a couple of stories. One of those being we have a clear divide in the squad in terms of who should be playing, who we can count on to bail us out when things get tough. Another thing that was glaringly obvious in this game, we're really, really lacking strength and depth overall. Truth be told, over the course of 90 minutes, we were pretty average. I don't want to say poor, because Newcastle weren't much better, but we definitely weren't great by any stretch. There was times in this game I felt we were pretty comfortable, as in Newcastle looked set up to defend for 90 minutes. It was always going to be difficult to break them down when they'd basically 11 men defending. Even Andy Carroll could have been mistaken for a centre back at times. Cleared a few corners, made a few last ditch kind of headers and clearances when we swung the ball into the box a few times. But look, then again, there were times when we came under some serious pressure, especially late on in the game. We actually found ourselves very, very lucky not to have lost. Bernd Leno definitely deserves some praise, but I get into all of that. So look, it feels like I've been away an awful long time. It feels like weeks since the West Brom game, and that would have been the last podcast that I recorded. So it's nice to be back. It really is, and it's even nicer to be back talking about another Arsenal victory. So we're going to jump into the lineups. So he went with Leno in goal. Cedric Suarez came in at right back. David Luiz returned. He partnered Pablo Mari, Kieran Tierney left back. He went with a midfield pairing of El Neni and Joe Willock. And then he had Pepe, Nelson, and Willian playing a central role that Smith-Rowe has been playing the last couple of weeks. Aubameyang centre forward. Martinelli was due to start. Unfortunately, he injured himself in the warm-up. So we'll be keeping our fingers crossed that that's nothing too serious. And hopefully we're just taking a little bit of precaution with him. Just don't want to aggravate anything because he's only back from a long-term injury, really. So, we can't afford to take too many risks, especially this being a cup game. Not that it's not important by any means, but we need to keep this guy fit and ready for the league. Reece Nelson came into the starting 11 because of that injury. Looking at this lineup, initial thoughts. This was a side that it allowed a couple of players a much needed rest, but at the same time still had a competitive enough look about it. You could see Arteta, he wasn't taking this game lightly. On the bench, we had Lacazette, Granit Xhaka, Runerson, Eddie Nketiah, Bukayo Saka, Smith-Rowe, Chambers, and Maitland-Niles. So a big, big subs bench because the FA Cup allows 5 subs. And it's just as well because we did end up needing them in the end. There was 3 players missing from this squad that really stood out for me. So Gabriel still maybe isn't ready to play after isolating. He was back training, but maybe not match fit. So you could understand. Thomas Partey, who like Gabriel, back in training. I was expecting that he might just make the subs bench, might get 15 minutes or so. I wasn't expecting him to start. But look, in hindsight, with the game going into extra time, it's probably just as well he didn't make the squad because we don't want to push him too soon. I prefer that Arteta used precaution when it comes to Partey, because like that, we don't need a repeat of the injury that he suffered after coming back a bit prematurely against Spurs. But a big name, or maybe rather not so much a big name, it's hard to know really. Fuller and Balogun had absolutely no part to play, didn't even make the bench. Now, when I say a big name, he's a name that everyone is talking about. I'm seeing as much news regarding Balogun as I am Ozil these days. So, with all the talk of Arsenal and Arteta wanting Balogun to remain at the club, they want him to commit his future, sign a new deal. But then at the same time, you're hearing that he's close to agreeing a deal with a foreign club. A team like Stuttgart is being mentioned. It's very hard to know what's actually going on here. My view on this, before the lineups were announced, and I actually put this out on Twitter, that I felt if he wasn't included in the team in some capacity, at least on the bench, my feeling is that it's pretty much going to tell us where we're at with him. Like, I can't imagine that if he's staying at the club, or the club or Arteta are trying to convince him to stay, I can't imagine why he'd be left out of the squad altogether. You know, maybe there's something to that. You know, maybe the fact that Eddie Nketiah has made the squad instead shows that Arteta looks resigned to losing Balogun, perhaps. You know, Eddie himself has been linked with a move to Wolves and West Ham. I've seen figures of over 20 million being mentioned, and look, it's pretty good money if you think of it. I do think there's a player there in Nketiah. You know, I feel as though I can't properly judge Balogun just yet. I've just not seen enough. And I think with this one, the club have got to be so careful how they handle this. In one sense, I feel if you got a guy that you believe could go on to become a great player, and in the future he could elevate you to the next level, then yeah, of course you got to try keep him. On the other hand, for every Bukayo Saka or Serge Gnabry the club produces, there's going to be 20 Francis Jeffers. Or for those who might not remember the Fox in the Box Jeffers, there could be an Arturo Lupoli or even a Nicholas Bentner. Not every academy product that shows a bit of promise is going to actually go on to fulfill that promise at the highest level. You've also got to consider what the player and his agent are actually looking for. I mean, do you give this kid a huge pay rise to convince him to stay? If so, you got to think about the message that sends out throughout the academy. If the next time you have a promising new product coming up through the ranks, is he going to try hold you to ransom over a new deal? You know, in order to make him stay, is he going to have all of the power and the say? I mean, you really have to be so careful here. Like, we all know agents don't need much to spot an opportunity. And we've seen firsthand as a club how an agent can exploit if given a chance. We've seen it with all the key interaction clients currently at our club, William, David Luiz, Cedric. So look, I think if you give in to one player, that yeah, he shows a bit of promise, but at the same time he's hugely untested. He's got no Premier League experience. He's given us a handful of clips, and let's be fair, most are going to tell you that Europa League opposition is poor. Yet when Balogun comes on and scores 2 goals in Europa League, suddenly it's a great competition and he's ready for first team football. Now, at the same time, I am an advocate of the Europa League being a great platform for these guys to be tried out. And because of the competition, we have got ourselves our Bukayo Sakas and our Smith-Rowes this way. So definitely as a fan base, we have got a tendency to overhype and always want to see the inclusion of the new guy. Automatically, the thing that's new becomes better than what's old or current. And in this case, Balogun being good and Eddie Nketiah not being good enough. But look, I spent enough time rambling on about this subject. Balogun, Nketiah, it's an episode all in itself. And, funny enough, I have actually spoken about this topic on my YouTube channel. And look, while I'm on that topic, shameless plug here, check out Republic of Arsenal on YouTube and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and share it around so you can check out some of the content there. But anyway, let's get back into this performance. So, game gets underway, and I like how we started. A couple of shots on goal early within the first 2 minutes. Pretty tame efforts from Nelson and Pepe, but I always like to see us go on the attack early. I just like to see that we're up for it from the start. We've such a tendency to be slow starters, so any attacking intent from the off is always a welcome sight. 4 minutes in, we won a free kick. I'm going to be honest, my heart absolutely sank. Do you ever look at a free kick position and think, okay, this isn't too far out? There's a definite possibility of a cracker goal. Then you look at who's standing over the ball. Now, we've got some decent set piece takers. I mean, you've got Lacazette, you've got Aubameyang, you've got Pepe, Granit Xhaka. Not all on the pitch, but we've good dead ball takers. For this one, we had David Luiz and Willian, and I just felt there and then you may as well just pass the ball back to Newcastle and we'll start again because we're not even getting through the wall with this. And yeah, basically, this kind of set the tone for Willian's performance. He hit a really crappy shot into the wall, and yeah, it was about the best thing he did all game, in all honesty. So look, within the first 20 minutes, yeah, I was getting a little bit concerned. Reece Nelson, Pepe, Joe Willock, all guilty of being a little bit wasteful or displaying a couple of heavy touches in and around the box. I was starting to get that feeling early days of, you know what, I don't know if these guys can be really depended on to get something if things get tough in this game. I don't know if these lads have enough composure to bail us out. 24 minutes in, Willian didn't help that feeling. The ball fell to him in the box, took it on his left and absolutely skied it miles into the air, presumably out of the Emirates Stadium. I can only imagine that ball is now sitting on the centre circle in the middle of Stamford Bridge. So hopefully somebody gives Willian a shout and says, "Hey, go get that ball back." And while you're there, just stay. Just it's for the best. So look, it took us about 25 minutes to have anything of major significance on goal. The ball dropped nicely to Aubameyang. Looked up, he saw there was nothing on, went for the shot himself. It was a decent effort, let's be fair. It was always going to be tough to beat Dubravka from that angle, or Dubrovnik, as commentator Danny Murphy kept referring to him as. 32 minutes in, that sloppiness I spoke about in the first 20, it came into effect again. Pepe got himself a good position in the box. But you know what? Pepe, he's just so left-footed. He's just so left-footed. Like, you could see all day he didn't want it on his right foot. The defender knew it too. Was able to pretty easily block him off from getting a shot on goal. And look, I like Pepe. I do like Pepe. I want it to work so bad. I try my best to see past the price tag wherever possible, but I have to be totally honest. You're going to pay 72 million for a player. He has to have more than just one foot. Like, how are you going to justify paying that much money for a guy? He can barely even stand on his right foot. So I just don't know with Pepe anymore. Like, I really don't. He's a guy that when he's running with the ball, he looks as though at any second he could drop the shoulder, he could skin his man, leave him sat on his arse, get through on goal, step over, round the keeper, and then just before he scores, trip over the ball, fall on his face, probably go off injured. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know, William. For the rest of the half, we seem to revert back to our old game plan. Swing the ball into the box over and over. Not much end product. Andy Carroll was having a decent game. He made a few nice clearances. He'd actually make a pretty decent centre half if he had to. So 0-0 at the break. We look comfortable. Newcastle playing with 11 men behind the ball. Look, it's hard to break that down. It really is. But at the same time, look, we never seemed in any danger of conceding. First half. Second half now, very, very different affair. Newcastle came out a different team altogether and they seemed to find a new kind of energy. I think it was a case of, a team kind of hangs on for a half, sort of says, yeah, look, whatever you got, throw it at us. They were able for it. And I think they grew in confidence because of that and said, look, this team probably can't hurt us. We look like the same team of, a couple of weeks before we went on that run of 3 wins in a row. We just lacked that creativity and we just didn't look like we knew how to break Newcastle down. 56 minutes in, Andy Carroll missed a glorious opportunity to put the Magpies in the lead. Jeff Hendrick hits a dangerous ball into the box. It evades everyone and finds its way to Carroll near the back post, who hits it first time on his left, puts it just wide. Now, in the end, it was flagged for offside, but VAR was available in this game, so if that did go to VAR and had been reviewed, the goal would have stood. He was kept onside by Cedric, so that was a seriously lucky escape. We brought on Smith-Rowe for Reece Nelson, and look, Nelson, yeah, another performance from Nelson left me feeling a little bit like how I feel about Pepe, as in, I just don't know. I see talent, I do. I just don't see enough right now to convince me that he's ready for this level. Currently, I just don't feel that he's there. Same has to go for Joe Willock. I think they both need loan moves so badly. And it was Willock who ended up having our next chance on goal. It was a good stop from Dubravka. And look, in fairness to Willock, I had said the last couple of weeks that his heading definitely needs to improve. He at least got this one on target, I suppose. He's missed a couple of bad ones over the last few weeks when he has got a chance to play. Willian replaced by Bukayo Saka. Willock replaced by Granit Xhaka. Now, Willian. That's about all I have to say about him. Really, he's basically dog shit. Let's be honest. I've tried. I've tried to defend him. I've said that players don't just become bad overnight. I said he was good for Chelsea last season. Just needs a bit of time. Look, I'm done. I'm done trying because it doesn't look like he's trying much himself. So fuck it. So just after 70 minutes, Aubameyang had a header saved. Pepe curled an effort wide of the post, and Granit Xhaka had a really, really good effort, brilliantly saved by the goalkeeper. That would have been another screamer for Xhaka's collection. He doesn't score often, but to be fair, when he does score, he scores some good goals, and that would have been another one. Other than that, we had to wait until the very end of the game for the real drama. 92 minutes in, Andy Carroll, he should be winning this game for Newcastle. He finds himself one-on-one with Leno. But look, Leno comes to the rescue. A brilliant save from our keeper. He does so well to stop Andy Carroll getting to the loose ball afterwards. Now, Leno, right, I feel Leno does not at all get the praise he deserves. Like, so many people underrate him. And it's because of the emergence of Emi Martinez last season. We sold the wrong keeper. We should have kept Emi. Bernd Leno isn't as good as Emi Martinez. I think a lot of people were forgetting how good Leno was up until the injury that even allowed Martinez to get playing time last season. He's a bloody good keeper and he saved us there. He certainly deserves so much more praise than he gets. And me personally, I rate him very, very highly. Now, he's not without fault. I've said it in the past. He does have a tendency to spill the ball. He's a very good shot stopper. He does have a mistake in him. But by and large, he's a very, very good goalkeeper. So look, the drama didn't end there. After almost losing late on, we then saw Emil Smith-Rowe showing a straight red card. Now look, this one, no fans in the stadium. You can hear everything. You can hear a pin drop at times. And I fully believe that the players are aware of this. That if they scream loud following a tackle, it'll entice the referee toward a foul and a card. But Smith-Rowe, almost falling backwards, extends a leg. makes minimal contact with Longstaff's shin, like minimal at best. Longstaff roars in pain, rolls around, and does everything in his power to convince the ref he's broken his leg. Referee sends Smith-Rowe off, who doesn't even argue, literally stands there in shock, hands on his head, like, looks like he just seen a ghost, like, what is after happening here? So for once, I was actually thankful of VAR. I'm not the biggest fan of VAR, but look, it definitely did us a favour in this one. Following a review, the ref rescinds the red card, changes it for a yellow card. Still a bit harsh in my view, but look, at least we got to keep Smith-Rowe on the pitch. Now look, with VAR, what I'd love to see would be, upon review, if you call for a free kick or a penalty, whatever, after watching it back, if you can see that that player dived or went out of their way to try and get a player booked, they should be the ones getting booked. Drives me fucking mad to see these so-called professionals try their hardest to get another professional booked to gain an advantage. It's cheating. Straight out, it's cheating. Let's call it as it is. And look, all teams are guilty, us included. It drives me crazy. But the game ends 0-0 anyway. Prospect of extra time penalties loom. Now, luckily, we didn't require penalties. And look, it was the man himself, Smith-Rowe, that ended up giving us the lead. So it was a night of such mixed emotions for Smith-Rowe. He went from being sent off, having the red card rescinded, and then he goes and puts his team in the lead in extra time. So a crazy, crazy night for the young lad. The goal, brilliant work from Lacazette, wins a header, plays it towards Smith-Rowe, who takes on his chest, brilliant control, lets the ball drop, places it to the keeper's left, 1-0 to the Arsenal. And right now, Smith-Rowe feels like he can just do absolutely no wrong. I mean, the guy can't even get himself sent off. Like, he's just been brilliant. The goal now that killed the game off to make it 2-0. Great ball from Xhaka. And Tierney, he's just done so well over the past few games, especially. We're seeing the attacking side of Tierney. Brilliant ball from Xhaka. Spots Tierney's run into the box. Crosses in towards Aubameyang, who makes no mistake with a close range finish. 2-0. Game over. A much, much needed goal for Aubameyang. Aubameyang had one goal in 8 games coming into this one, so that's a big goal for the skipper. So, look, 2-0 the end. It's probably a result that flatters us on paper. We made very, very hard work of it. And as I said from the beginning, the lack of strength and depth was very, very evident. We badly need to reinforce the squad in January. Like, I fear that an injury to Bukayo Saka, Kieran Tierney, Lacazette, it'll put us back to square one. Like, we just can't rely on Willian, Pepe, Nelson, and Willock, and a few of the others. Realistically, it's just not enough. We have to dip into the transfer market. We've seen this team make strides over the past couple of weeks. We've now 4 wins out of 4, 3 in the league, 1 in the FA Cup. There's been major improvements, but we can't leave the youngsters to carry us. It's just not sustainable. This has to be an eye opener for Arteta. We've seen Martinelli when he's been fit to play. We've seen Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe. Like, these young guys are carrying us at the moment, and they just can't do it by themselves. We know we're going to lose a few players this month. Kolasinac is already gone on loan. We're probably going to lose Socrates, hopefully Mustafi, maybe even Ozil. So we definitely need to improve the squad, or at the very least, we need to bring in better alternatives to our starting 11. So if you're not going to bring in players that are ready to go straight into the squad, you've got to bring in guys that are better than our backups at the very, very least. But look, lucky escape perhaps in the end. We almost lost it late on. We almost lost it, if not for Bernd Leno. We ended up getting it done in the end. Smith-Rowe to the rescue again. Aubameyang got himself back in the score sheet. 4 wins out of 4. Crystal Palace up next in the league. I'm expecting a tough game. It's going to be a tough game. It always is against Palace. But look, hopefully our better players will start this game because we could see the difference that was made once these guys came on. Hopefully now Arteta firmly knows who his best players are. He hopefully knows who he can actually count on. So look, just again, quick reminder, I'm on YouTube now, Republic of Arsenal on YouTube. These podcast episodes will continue on whichever platform that you listen to them on, but they'll also be uploaded to YouTube as well. There's more video content added there. There's going to be live videos, so please do check those out. Do subscribe, like, share, comment, everything. So also, I recently made an appearance on a channel called The Blind Gooner with the host Daniel. So you can check out his channel. You can check out that interview. And as always, have to give a massive shout out to my Arsenal fan circle family. I can't speak highly enough of the lads. You know, these guys have provided me with a platform, basically gave me an introduction to YouTube. So if you can, check out Arsenal Fan Circle, give them a follow on YouTube as well. Brilliant panelists there, always a good laugh. So look, yeah, like I said, it feels like it's been weeks since my last episode, which was the West Brom game. It feels good to be back. Thanks again for sticking with me. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for all the support. As I said, do check out YouTube. Do like, share, subscribe. Keep listening to the podcast. It's very, very much appreciated. Look, we look forward to Crystal Palace now. So come on, you Gunners.